We might.
Okay, live.
Okay, we're live streaming, and we'll now call the meeting of Land Bank Authority to order. For roll call, Tom Ward is on the phone, Frank Lynch is here in person, Charles Wallace on the phone, Terry Davis is here in person. Dan's on the phone, and I think Don Fabian was going to join us on the phone, but I have not heard him in yet. And Fred Falona is not yet here, though is scheduled to be here. So that's where we are on roll call. Public participation, we don't have anyone from the public. So let's just go right to approval of the minutes. So we have two sets of minutes, May 8th and June 12th, to take a look at. Get a chance to take a look at those minutes. Got those yesterday afternoon. Any comments? If not, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, motion to approve the minutes May 8th and June 12th. Is there a second?
Sorry.
Been seconded by Frank. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All right. Any opposed? All right, carries. Don't think we need an executive session for Land Bank. Financial review.
Everything was sent yesterday. The payments are as usual.
Just, as I recall, there's one. There's just Tucker.
Yeah.
For the 925 on the for checks.
That's it.
Any questions on the financials? So someone gonna make a motion to approve the financials and ratify the checks.
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right, motion's been made by Terry. Is there a second? All right, there's a second. I'm not sure who that was. That you, Tom? Okay, Tom Ward second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. New business. So we have a new demolition request. George, you want to give us an update on that?
If we've been contacted by what's the name of the company, Deborah? I forget.
First Choice Home Buyers.
First Choice Home Buyers. Dan and I went out and visited the site. It's 2743 North Front Street. I have some photos here for you. Essentially, what these guys are doing, renovating this house. It's a blighted, vacant house. I don't know how long this house has been vacant, probably maybe like 10, 15 years. Do you remember the company, ARP, they did, remember the LBs? Terry. They did
I remember one.
Yeah, I guess this was one of the houses that they had the kids in. And like I said, it was probably 10, 15 years ago. It's vacant. These guys purchased the house. They are renovating it for Dee Allen. Dee Allen runs a nonprofit called Thrive. And what Thrive does is Thrive takes kids from, I think like 12 to 18. They're foster kids. And what happens is some of these kids get kicked out of the system and they have nowhere to go. Essentially, unhoused or whatever it may be, because they don't have a family to go to. Well, she takes these kids in and tries to get them back into society and help them out with life skills and things of that nature. Basically, that's what she needs additional housing for. She currently has, I think, two buildings now with multiple rooms for some of these children, and this will be another opportunity for her to house some of the children in the house. They're going to have a lease with Dee Allen, with Thrive, I think for 12 months. And basically that's what the project's for. So I think it's a good end use of the dollars to assist with some interior demo, to clean the house up and get it ready for some of these unhoused children who don't have a place to live.
How much is it frustrating?
The max.
How much, 50,000?
That's the max we do on the grant. We don't go above that.
This a nonprofit?
The nonprofit is gonna be leasing. Yes, D. Allen Drive is the nonprofit that will lease the house from the company.
It's for-profit ownership.
Right.
The owner of the property is for profit. And then
Yeah.
the lease is nonprofit,
Right.
nonprofit. George had filled me in yesterday on this visit there on this project.
Well, that's what I do. I had to borrow $7.5 million of my own money to do this business. Now you guys will give me $50,000. Well,
This just started back in, 2015.
Yeah.
We were
so
starting-
we're not demolishing it.
No, it's interior demo.
The demo fund, we've done a mix of for-profit and not-for-profit projects that we've done. Light is kind of the overreaching though. Terry, I'm always concerned with kind of that for-profit piece. What's then the value? Like, what goal are we achieving? Of course, always has to be the removal of blight, elimination of blight, but then also what is what's the end use of the property ultimately can be. Sometimes it's just taking the structure down and giving the land to the neighbors or reconstructing some other property. This one's interesting because of the nonprofit that's going in, whether that's deemed valuable community activity.
Well, obviously helping kids is a valuable thing to do.
Right.
But if they're making a profit off of it, then it's kind of like the same business I'm in. Where I'm a for-profit halfway house for men state prison.
Mhm.
And I have a contract, so if they have a contract to pay for these kids, I mean, they ought to be borrowing the money, not getting like I do it.
But we didn't, when you first started, we didn't have all these grants.
I know. Well,
I mean,
I had a rich guy that was supposed to be my partner at the time, but I kicked his ass out in a year and a half, and then I got stuck with this. But he had $70 million he was in from his mother-in-law, so I'm worried about it. But as I built this business, I'm a for-profit business doing the same kind of thing just with adults, and I don't know that for-profit businesses get many grants. I mean, I couldn't get any PCC grants or anything like that.
Yeah, I run a for-profit business also.
Yeah.
And I'm always sympathetic to kind of that thought, but there are a lot of grants for profit companies. So that's not necessarily anything that's out of the ordinary. Particularly community economic development. Is it fair? How do you judge that, whether it's fair or not? And what dollar amounts are appropriate? That's always the tricky piece to it.
Well, how bad is this place? Anyone, you looked at it?
Dan and I went and visited last week.
Is it really bad?
Yeah, I think it's been about 8 years vacant, look like.
Yeah.
And the two properties next to it, like one was PA Crime and Delinquency, which is like a real concrete structure, and that's vacant. So it is helping the neighborhood, and the end uses are not the profit, helping kids, but yeah, it's been vacant a while.
So it's right next to the PCCD place.
Yeah, right on Front Street
I
there.
think it is next to that, which is vacant, the old site.
Yeah, that used to be the parole board office.
And that building's a mess. I mean, there's a dumpster out front, there's stuff hanging out. It's
Really?
horrible. These are the kind of projects that we need to be doing. And the grant is for elimination of like vacant buildings, whether commercial, residential, whatever it may be. But I mean, that's what the dollars are for, clean up sites like this. Now, back to your point about for-profit businesses, the only grants that this board has approved on for-profit or eliminating like hazards, like commercial buildings that are just, getting vandalized and animals in them and people breaking windows, all that kind of stuff. But that's what these dollars are for, to eliminate structures like that are deteriorating municipalities, local municipalities. I mean, we've done projects all over the county, but that's kind of what these dollars are for. I mean, they're not to help for-profit developer make money on something that he normally wouldn't need assistance with. Like, we're helping projects that developers need assistance with because they have some deficiencies, whether it's in a bankruptcy or it's, back taxes, or mechanics lanes, or whatever it may be on a property, where these guys aren't getting involved in projects like that. They're doing something like a clean project where they're buying something, renovating, flipping it, whatever, but we don't do projects like that.
How does everybody else feel?
I'm comfortable with it because it's a program to limit blight. The blighted property, people are investing private funds into it. I mean, we've done a number of private projects or projects that ultimately end up in private hands, even if they start with a governmental entity or nonprofit, that benefit translates through to a for-profit. That often occurs. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah, me too. There's a problem. One is to improve the neighborhood and structure itself, but also to increase the assessed value, which improves to over a period of time, 5 years, I think it is. The assessment increase goes to the municipality. So it's a good means to an end.
Yeah, if we limit this program down just to nonprofits, we're not going to see a lot of activity.
And nonprofits typically on the tax bills anyway.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Nonprofits is a different story. Yeah.
So this is a for-profit, so after all the work is done, it should have an increased value. So I don't know if you know what those figures are.
Yeah, I mean, not a
That's
ton
one
of
of the
my
two
head.
problems, Terry, that I look at.
Yeah. Alright, just,
What's the benefit to the city? That's twice. It's obviously.
is that in the city or is that Susquehanna Township?
Yes,
It's in the city.
Okay,
city.
it's pretty close. Okay.
The line's down by the JCC,
Yeah, that's not too far away.
so it's,
Okay, alright.
I don't know the tax implications.
It's obviously, probably, it's probably best in service. Non-profit, but. Say,
That's not worth more money once something's operating and sitting there.
Right, against whether a reassessment property gets triggered or not. Which is always the tricky.
Well, it's pretty much done through permit applications, right?
Yeah. But
It's a semi-automatic process in the assessment office.
Yeah.
And that's why these, they'll get sticker shock, go appeal, try to get that, appraisal. That's a whole different thing.
right.
It's not fun, Terry. It's not fun.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, ultimately it increases the assessed value of the property. So it increases.
You're good with it? What about our phone?
Yeah, Tom,
Okay.
Charles? Any comments on this project?
Yeah, I'm good with going forward with it. It, checks the box of what our spirit is for the funds and it creates, good end use that, helps the community. So I'm good.
All right, Tom, any comments? Okay. Okay.
Alright.
The only thing I had a problem with was the lease. So I just think that, back to your point, with the lease, because if it's only a 12-month lease and then it expires, these guys can rent this house out and make revenue. Right? So I think we should put contingency in there that after the 12-month lease on Thrive, that there's an additional 12 or 24-month lease after the 12-month lease, so that they stay in this house. That this house essentially has to be for transitional housing, what she does, for at least 3 to
Why
5 years.
don't we add that they have a first right? You know, that any lease they have the right to extend. Because I think what you told me yesterday was that Thrive can't do a lease longer than 12 months because of their funding, jeopardizes their federal funding that they have. So that they would have to do annual renewals. So if you want them to have the right, and then they just have to have that written into their lease. But if they lose their funding, you know, Thrive loses their funding, I wouldn't hold that to the private owner. You know, that if they choose to leave. You know,
That's my only problem.
I agree, George, in that if they kick them out in 12 months because they can make more money off of some other program,
yeah, and that's.
and then they got $50,000 from us to fix up their house, they can now make more money. I think they should owe us $50,000.
That's the business we're not
Not
in. I
in-
know.
But you still check those 2 boxes that I mentioned.
Okay,
2
I know.
boxes, you know, the
Yeah.
within the neighborhood, restoration, assessment.
Yeah,
Okay.
And you look at Lucknow, our project, Last Love,
Right.
Yeah.
they're all privately owned now.
Yeah.
You know, but we tore down 3 properties and put up 4, right?
right.
4, put up 5.
We'll put up 5. You know, the land bank owned them for a while until we actually built them and took them on the market. Now they're all privately owned. But none of that would have been possible but for assistance from the land bank.
Okay. That sounds like you do good stuff.
Amen, brother.
One last thing on that one, so
That's why I park 16, I pay $16 a month.
what about the rent, the amount? And obviously, Thrive only has 12 months of funding, right?
Yeah.
Now, if they get funding for the second, third year, it's a private company, they can always jack up the rate.
Yeah, we did discuss that when we did the site visit, and I think it's a cap. I think it's a capped rate, because she can only pay so much. She's getting, Terry knows, she's getting a certain amount per kid,
Right.
so
Yeah.
her rent is capped.
Yeah, if you only have 3 kids there, you're not making very much money.
Yeah, so,
And then that's acceptable to the property owner. The cap.
yeah.
And my population at 181 today. That's a good one.
All right, are any questions or a motion?
Motion.
Motion to approve 50,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
Subject to the terms discussed by Julie.
And is that going to first choice home buyers?
Yes,
Yes.
And they are in the city of Harrisburg.
yes.
Sorry.
The motion the first time, home buyers, $50,000. Subject to, you know, lease provisions that provide a renewal option for Thrive beyond the first 12 months. That good? All right, motion? Okay, is there a second?
A second.
All right, motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
Thank you. Deal with that.
All right, so demo fund. You want to do a quick overview on that first?
Sure. I assume you're talking to me.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Whoever wants to take it, yes.
Do you want?
That's yours.
No, good, I mean, Jim, what was it, 20-something?
Yeah, I saw that. We have the report in our packet.
Yep, so the June revenue was $20,535. With updating the report that was sent to you, with that $50,000 approved today, we have available $413,828.70.
All right, so we still have a nice chunk of dollars there.
And it's very nice now that Millersburg spent their money, so all of the older projects are spent.
So everything is spent
Down to,
except for,
Sanctuary on Susquehanna.
yeah, 5,000 hanging out there on
Yeah,
6870 Dairy Street.
yeah, I wanna look into that, and make sure if we need to send out any correspondence, or if that was
Okay.
something that was kind of in transition
All right,
that may have gotten missed, or
so they drew
we'll look at
down
that.
a portion of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Actually, we approved just over a year ago. Okay. The other ones are pretty new, Homeland and Hamilton. All right, and 20,000 seems like that's kind of where we're,
Yeah,
looking like maybe the city, last year we got 230, 23 is 220 in total receipts into the program, so.
yeah, so
looks like we're
far,
on
so
track
for
with
the
that
first
same-
half of the year, the average is 18,902.
Yeah, okay. Yep. Okay, any questions on the report? All right, you wanna talk about Route 230 diner?
Well, so, Route 239, we had an original offer at 50,000. Board wanted to counter at, with 70, with the low 65. And then in that time frame, we had an offer at 90. So we need an approval for the board to accept it, and then Kayla's gonna do the court proceedings for the conservative. And we're ready to go. It's worked out well.
Yeah, I was surprised with that.
You guys are geniuses.
Yeah, just hold some for 7 years.
No fun first, we're good to go.
Any issue, I mean, it looks like the buyer's moving forward, I saw
Well,
correspondence, they're already with their title company and moving on things and.
Well, the reason I said to hold it longer is because I knew we had two other potential buyers, if you guys remember, at the $90,000 appraised number.
Right.
But what happened was, we were still in this conservatorship, and it was, our time frame wasn't well, and these guys went away.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's why I wanted to wait, once it was available and we listed it, so let's just wait it out, because I knew there had some value in that land. Even the way it sits with the stream in the middle, or whatever it may be, but I think it just took a couple weeks for some guys to get a set of eyes on it.
Yeah.
We got a good offer, so.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
it's awesome.
Good.
All right, any other questions on that? There is that process, has to go through the courts, I think we talked a little bit about that last time. But, this group is motivated, sounds like wants to get this closing done quickly.
Well, we will indicate that to the board.
So,
Yeah.
good luck.
Yeah.
All right, there's no questions or a motion to approve, the offer, for the June 30 diner, property for $91,000.
One of you geniuses should do that.
So, I'll move it.
You walked in.
Motion's been made, is there a second?
Said,
Made and seconded.
Zero all.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, great. Nice to get that check in the bank. All right, 104, 106 Walnut Street.
Yeah, so you guys, Deb prepared the photos for you. This is, a blighted, vacant structure right down across from our Dauphin County Library system, that we did with Brad Jones and Harristown Development. They completed it. I think it's fully occupied. I did visit the site. It's beautiful. They did a great job renovating these two structures, residential structures, and this is the kind of good work that you guys have done and improved for demo dollars, interior demo dollars, and just something that shows how beneficial the grant program has been, and positive projects that assist and help the city and the county. So thank you guys for doing that. And this is I'd like to see great end use projects get completed and have successful back end stories on them. This was a great project. Turned out great.
Good project. The project by Harristown, they did a nice
Yeah.
job. Those are, I mean, they're pretty high profile properties.
Yeah.
Right on Front Street. So to get those back to productive use. Housing clearly is sort of where I know a lot of entities are going in the city to revamp old office space. Properties never used as offices. I think that's what this was at one point. Yeah, at one point, somebody was there's offices,
Yeah, there's a lot of,
converting some of the stuff back into housing. Seems to make a lot of sense in today's market.
right,
Is this wonderful to the city?
it's right across from the library, yeah,
Yeah,
directly across from. Right by the police station, on the right side, yeah. Right there, right on the corner.
For the rock we're
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yep.
It turned out great. If you guys ever want a tour, let me know. You know, try to take you through, kind of to.
No, any applications in UNRAs?
No, so,
Alright, well, we have some dollars, we can still, fund some projects. Alright, correspondence, miscellaneous items, board comments.
George,
they want
do you want to introduce?
Yes.
We're on it. Matt.
Sorry.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
no.
so,
I didn't want him to go in
No,
the order.
no.
but Mike's not land bank, we're gonna do.
True, but.
Yeah, so this is Mike Burke, our new program coordinator two position guy, and Mike's been at the county for 25 years in the security department. So we had the opening, and he interviewed well, and he's done a great job thus far. He started on Monday, so he's boots to the ground, and he's gonna be working on our whole homes repair program, doing the monitoring, doing the compliance work, eligibility work with the applicants, checking on the contractors. So like I said, he's doing a great job already. I'm proud of him and done a great job working with him, all of them as well. So it's a good addition to our team, and we're excited to have.
Great, Mike, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Everyone's been waiting for you to show up.
Thank you.
I know there was a lot to do. Especially in the whole home. So,
Yeah.
we'll talk about the redevelopment authority. All right, anything else?
Does Mike get a county card?
Sure.
I just did
If
this
it's up to
county
me,
card
yeah.
review for
It's
the
just not
county.
up to me.
So I checked all the cards out that the county has for my Martin Luther King leadership course. And so that's why I asked.
All right, is, no other comments or motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to
All
adjourn.
right, second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, we're adjourned. We have 2 minutes and we can go into
right.
redevelopment authority.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Terry?
I hate to say it, but I just